Welcome to the Behavioral Echoes channel with Dr. Wallace. We're exploring a developmental framework built on 4 distinct stages: awareness, adaptation, automation, and attachment. Consider an adult who seemingly loses the ability to communicate the moment interpersonal pressure rises. They withdraw, stare blankly, and find it nearly impossible to ask for help, even when the situation demands it. The roots of that behavior often reach back to a classroom years earlier. A 7-year-old boy sits at a desk while his peers raise their hands to answer a question. He knows the answer, but he stays silent and stares down at his desk until the moment passes. To an outside observer, this looks like a student who simply isn't engaged. But that quietness is an echo, a learned response to an environment where silence was once the only way to stay safe. Educators and parents are often trained to see this withdrawal through the lens of a deficit, assuming the child is either unable or unwilling to meet the expectations of the room. This perspective frequently leads to formal special education labels. A school might evaluate these behaviors as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, emotional disturbance, or oppositional defiant disorder. However, there is a different set of data to consider: adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. These are potentially traumatic events occurring before age 18. This research stems from a landmark study conducted in the late 1990s by Kaiser Permanente and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. From this perspective, we are seeing stage 2, adaptation. The nervous system is repeating the exact behaviors that helped a child navigate an unpredictable world. When we focus strictly on the disruption, we risk misidentifying a biological survival tactic as a psychological deficit. Inside a child's early home environment, the developing brain isn't evaluating morality or social rules. It is constantly scanning the environment for safety. This is stage 1, awareness. The child senses emotional instability, perhaps through overwhelmed caregivers or the muffled sound of an argument in the next room. Because of the high neuroplasticity of early childhood, persistent stressors can actually alter the brain's structural organization. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change and reorganize its connections in response to its environment. To survive this instability, the child moves to stage 2, adaptation. They might learn that the safest way to exist is to be perfectly quiet, need nothing, and handle every problem entirely alone. Children don't simply move past these experiences, they grow around them. The neurological pathways formed during these moments become a permanent part of their development. When that child enters a classroom, they bring those survival patterns into stage 3, automation. The behavior is no longer a choice, it is an automatic nervous system response. Everyday classroom pressures, like being called on or the noise of a busy hallway, can accidentally trigger a biological freeze or fawn state. This compares clinical symptoms against trauma responses. Lack of focus is classified as ADHD, and a fight response as oppositional defiant disorder. But the overlap is striking. A hypervigilant child looks identical to an inattentive one, and attempting to gain control is mistaken for defiance. We are pathologizing children for repeating the exact neurological adaptations that once kept them safe. Eventually, these patterns reach stage 4, attachment. Emotional withdrawal in childhood often solidifies into avoidant attachment in adulthood, a relational style where a person dismisses emotional intimacy to protect themselves. The child who learned never to need anyone becomes the adult who struggles to let a partner in or ask for help during a conflict. This is the tragic irony of the echo. The defense mechanism that originally protected the child has built the walls of the adult's inner world, turning a survival behavior into a permanent identity. Doing better by children begins with a fundamental shift in how we interpret these behaviors. It requires moving past judgment and asking a different question. Instead of asking, "What is wrong with you?" we must start asking, "What happened to you?" In a classroom, that looks like reducing performance pressure. Telling a student they don't have to answer communicates safety to an activated nervous system. Offering simple choices, like which question to start with, restores a sense of agency. That feeling of control allows the nervous system to biologically downshift and regulate. When we acknowledge these behaviors as echoes of invisible wounds, we can finally provide the compassionate support necessary to help a child heal the original voice.